All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here with you today. And I look forward to a fun conversation this afternoon. Hopefully, many of you are ready to jump in and talk to me and help me through some difficulties and line me out. No, this is a topic. And, you might think, how do you come up with the topic each week? Where did this come from? You never know. I mean, I'm always, like many of you, I'm studying the Bible, I'm thinking about all sorts of things, and if I really don't remember what put me on this idea, but it had something to do, as I recall, with a study that I was doing that led from another language. Like, I'm looking at all sorts of things. I'm barely good at English, but I study biblical Hebrew and I study other things. And I got into a study of Akkadian. Now, Akkadian is considered, and by the way, I got into it enough, meaning I don't want you to think I'm saying I know Akkadian. Akkadian here in Louisiana is spelled with two C's. It's a different Akkadian. It's Cajun, and I can function in that at the local Walmart. But ancient Akkadian with two K's, I looked at it long enough to realize that it was over my head. But in the process of studying a bit of Akkadian, like 70 pages into a grammar, one of the words was connected to the Hebrew idea of nephesh. And that kind of opened up the whole idea. And I know that not everyone agrees with me on the idea of nephesh kaya and nephesh and the immortality of the soul and resurrection of the dead. I get that. But I said, I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to talk about there are two different worldviews. And I'm going to start this off. By the way, raise your hand if you have some ideas you want to jump in. I'll be happy to call on you. But here's the idea. There are two things going on here: immortality of the soul and resurrection of the dead. The Hebrew view is resurrection of the dead. Now, that doesn't mean that some Jews and some elements within Judaism don't believe in the immortality of the soul. I would not agree with those who believe in the immortality of the soul, but I know that certain mystics and so forth are infected with this false teaching. But anyway, I had to say it that way, mainly to try to wake you guys up, to stir you up. Valentine, man, look at you, man. You're here, and David, I guess both. I got some Israelis with me today. What time
There's
is it?
David.
What
Yeah,
time
it
is
is. It is a
It's
quarter
almost
to midnight.
midnight, man.
That is it. But I got to tell you something. I am so impressed with you, and I want to start off by saying one thing to you. May Hashem bless you all of your days, Ross Nichols.
Thank
May
you,
Hashem
Valentine.
bless you.
Thank you, my
You're
friend.
welcome. I gotta say, I watched your whole YouTube live, and I am so impressed. I am, because now I've said that to you before, but I want you to know I'm really impressed right now. So much so that it's a quarter till midnight. I'm sitting here. I wanted to sit and tell you, but wow. Wow. Okay. All right. So if you have just a moment, I would like to tell you a couple of the things that impressed me so much, because it's particularly wonderful. So you started talking. You were in Genesis, and you were in Leviticus, and you went back to Genesis and the Psalms, and it was really, really good. And I'm going to go back and look at the notes that I made later. But as you were talking, and well, you know how this goes when you studied for. Hey guys, looky there. When you study this stuff, decades and decades and decades, stuff starts just popping in your brain, and you start. That's what it's made to do. You use a word, or you use verse, and it just everything starts opening up.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were sitting there, I was thinking, okay, so he's talking about the nefesh. I didn't hear you say ruach, but that's the next level of soul, and then the neshama. Okay, and if we were to ask our friends over here in Sfat a few miles away, maybe they would add a couple of more levels, but that doesn't concern us so much right now.
But I know you're exactly right. Yes, indeed.
But one of the things that I thought was interesting, so you talked about some of these main characters and some of the main concepts of this whole life thing, and then the dust. And I kind of listened and about everything you were saying, and I got to thinking there was one character that you did mention, but his outcome. This is the serpent in in creation story. And as I sat there, my wife was sitting there with me, and I was talking. I said, I'm thinking, was it Yuma 74 and Kiddushin 82, 82b specifically. And I was thinking about some of the different, now those are Talmudic, I know.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Yoma, let me get them again. Yoma 94, and what was the other?
No, 75. Yoma 75.
Okay.
And Kiddushin 82, I think it's 82b.
Gotcha.
And while you're there, read the story of Hiya bar Ashi, my favorite story in the whole Gemara. But one thing, going back to the serpent guy here for a second, in the garden. So he's got a bit of a problem. He has, for whatever reason, tried to manipulate the situation with Adam and Hava. Okay, and it got found out, and he got in trouble. And what did he get? He got a curse. What is his curse? Do we think about that? Now Rashi says he got his legs cut off. Okay.
Right.
Maybe it's that simple. Who knows? I wasn't there. But what we do know, the words are very specific. You will crawl. And it's on your belly is another couple of words that are usually thrown in there. You will crawl, and the dirt you shall eat all the days of your life.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. If I'm going to try to quote it here. V'shan te. See, I wrote this in my handwriting, so I'm not reading
that's
from
all right.
Bible.
That's all right.
But okay, takol and kal yami chayak. Okay, so in the dirt you will eat all your life, and so now let's think about that for just a moment. What kind of curse is that? Well, if you are right there on your belly, and you're on the dust, you're on the dirt that it's talking about, the afar. If you're there, you have all your needs. You have no need to call on Hashem for anything. The Creator is sentencing this serpent, whoever it was, or whatever it looked like, to a very horrible thing. Because all of the days of this serpent, his needs will be filled. He has the food that he'll eat all the days of his life. There is no need for him to call out to the Creator. This is the curse, this disconnection from the Creator. And I think a lot of times, no, I didn't come up with this. This is something from Orachaim, I believe, or Seforno. I think it's Seforno. And you find it in that Kiddushin 82, if I'm not mistaken. 82b. But this is really interesting because so his needs are met. He has no need. He has food. He's going to be on the ground. And we think, well, okay, so it's going to be dusty and he'll eat the dust and all that. He has no need to be connected with Hashem. His needs are taken care of, whether you like eating dirt or you don't.
Yeah.
But the curse is he's disconnected from Hashem. Wow. And if you really think about that for a moment, that's a horrible thing. That would be a horrible thing from anybody, for any soul. And so I wanted to put that out there. I read that years and years and years ago. As I said, I think it was Saforno, the Rabbi Saforno, the commentator.
Yeah.
And I believe Ora Haim talks about it a little bit too.
Let me jump in. I'm looking now in Genesis 3:14. If you want that verse,
yes, 3:14
that he was just that they was just looking at, and it says Va'afar tochal kol yamei hayecha, and it's and dust afar you shall eat. Now you've got me thinking. And that's dangerous, because now I'm thinking of all sorts of other things, where you're going, well, hang on just a second.
Sure.
Because the same dust that man is made of is also the very food of the serpent. And so, I mean, I don't know what to do with that, and I'd probably do a disservice, but yeah, you just kind of mull it around. But one other point. Look at Isaiah 65 and verse 25. Now, again, no, that's okay. I'll read it. But it's like I mentioned toward the end. I see. My understanding is that according to Isaiah, and I love Isaiah, and it's my view is Isaiah's view, hopefully, and that is that there's going to be a new heavens and a new earth. But everything goes back to Genesis. I intentionally set the class up, so I began in Genesis and I brought the viewer back to Genesis, because when we lose a loved one, our greatest desire is to see, to hold, to hug, to kiss, to love, to stroke that person again. And no matter what the view is from Genesis to the end, there is a dark period where we think, I just can't have them, hold them, love them, kiss them. But the prophets say, but hang on, hold on, don't give up, you'll see them again. And then you just made me think of a verse I didn't include, but here it is. It's in Isaiah 65:25. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and dust shall be the serpent's food. Whoa. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, saith Jehovah. Whoever, we tend, particularly me, because I came from a Christian background, and I don't know as much about various Jewish views, but Christianity in its inception is a Jewish view too, but here's the idea. Who is the Nakash? You brought up the Nakash.
Ooh,
is it the serpent, the devil? Christianity certainly went there. But I just wanted to bring up that your point is very interesting, because the judgment at the beginning is the serpent has everything he needs in the dust. He just gets to eat dust, but it's forever. Even at the end, when everything else is fixed and you're all holding hands with your loved ones that unfortunately went away, they're just away for a short time. You'll see them again. This is the view. But that old serpent's going to be licking the dust forever.
And I can't help but saying this, but the whole gematria of the thing, the numeric equivalents, you think, okay, the Nakash. So one might look at the numbers of this and then think, what's the equal number of that? Mashiach.
Exactly. So 358.
Why would Nakash make me want to think about Mashiach? Oh my goodness, there's another thing to roll around for a few decades. That's good. Mm-hmm. But, back to what you just said, of course, probably a lot of listeners are familiar with the Amidah. It's the prayer Jews do every day. And the second blessing in the Amidah speaks exactly to what you just said. Hold on, because I don't want to misquote that. Basically, he keeps faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I love that. And you, of course, you also in the broadcast you talked about the Goel Israel, the Redeemer, and of course that's talked about in the same thing. And that last one, this is really interesting too, about the nest, the banner, or the miracle, however you want to look at that. And again, these three are part of the Amidah, and we can see those in English or Hebrew or however, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But so it's the second one is the sleep in the dust. He remembers those that sleep in the dust. So good news there. The eighth one is the Redeemer, Goel Israel, of course, in this case, but for all. And then the 11th for the oh man, you remember that one? Tikab, shofar, gadol, blow the great shofar, and show the nest, the miracles, or the banner, however you want to interpret it. That's the beautiful thing about it. Once again, our minds roll through there, and we come up with all kinds of wonderful things. And so that was, and you know what? I gotta say, other than a rabbi, you're the only person that's a non-rabbi. And I've told you, you are a Rebbe, you are a teacher. And man, you did something amazing stuff tonight. That was great. But other than a rabbi, I've never, ever heard anyone else say, Sheol, it's like the question.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that what the rabbis say as well? Is that
I've heard that.
See, and I have read, and like you and many others, I've read a lot of things over the days, and sometimes I always try to give attribution if Rabbi whoever, Eliezer, if I know it from the Talmud, or I want to give credit.
Sure.
But I can see how someone could see Sheol and say, what does it mean? It's like the play that you get when you say mana. What is mana? It's like, who's on first? Mana? What is this? Exactly. What is this? Sheol, It's a question. We don't know. And to me, this is a beautiful idea. I know other people have different views of what happens to their loved one when they pass. And I don't mean to take away any comfort from someone. I mean, look, I've never died. I don't know. But from the biblical perspective, we get very little, but we get a beautiful image. I remember when my grandmother passed, my granny, my mom's mother, who is the direct line from me. My mother taught me the Bible. She learned it from her mother. It's a maternal thing in my family. And I remember I had the honor of doing the service. And I remember I focused on seeing her again. And my oldest grandson at the time was young. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe 6, maybe. And he loved Granny. And I remember he came up to me after and tugged on my jacket and he said, Saba, when do we get to see Granny again? The idea is we don't want to be away from our loved one for a minute. However, you if you have an open casket, God please that we all should, if that's what we want. If we don't, whatever. But when you see that person, the image I want you to have is they're sleeping, they're resting. I like the phrase that's popular even for non-religious folks where we say rest in peace. Rest in peace. Sleep.
There you go.
And that's the image. I think it's so beautiful. And one day you'll be awakened. And in Hebrew, when we talk about rising from the dead, it's the Hebrew word kum. Stand up. Come on, chop.
Rise
Get up.
Yeah.
Rise up.
Stand on your feet.
Yep.
Get up.
I love it.
That's it. You know what? I got to tell you, I'm so glad that I was in attendance in your YouTube today. I'm so happy to get to talk with you and to see all the familiar faces that I see here. I probably won't stay on a whole long time because now it is midnight plus 1 minute.
That's right.
I've had a great time talking with you. Again, blessings to you, blessings to all of these people. I know many of these people here, and Baruch Hashem, good stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind and encouraging words, and I can't wait to see you in the Galilee. The land, by the way, you know this, Isaiah chapter 9, it's in the Galilee where the idea of resurrection is born. Isaiah chapter 9, behold your light. It's this idea in a land of darkness. And think about it, even whether you're Jewish or you're Christian, ideas of resurrection of the dead, it's in the land of the Galilee. And I tell you, I'll prove it. You look at the prophets who raised the dead, Isaiah knew about, he heard stories, he told stories, but we don't see any text that says he raised anybody from the dead, nor do we see Ezekiel or but guess what? Elijah and Elisha, it's the northern prophets, these Galilean prophets. And if you're Christian, Jesus is, and the stories of Jesus are really northern prophet material. It's why you open up the Gospels and you see stories, not just Jesus rising from the dead, but you see Jesus raising people from the dead. Talita, remember the little girl, and those of you who know the Gospels, a little girl dies and she goes in and he says in Mark in Aramaic, Talita kumi. Yeah, it's little girl, little damsel, arise. Anyway, it's the Galilee. So I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, now you really got me thinking. That's some good stuff there. Yeah, all these guys, not even 30 miles from here. You're talking about Elijah, just right. Man, I mean, it's amazing stuff. Absolutely. And I got a surprise for you when I do see you. I got a surprise for you.
I can't wait.
Mind-blowing. See you guys. Baruch Hashem. Blessings to all of you.
Hey, thanks, Valentine. Good to see you, my man. Take care.
Good to see you.
My best to your family.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. It looks like before I bring Clody up, and Clody, just hang on one second. What we're going to do is we're going to tell our YouTube audience, have a beautiful week, and we're going to spend the rest of the time with the Yachad as a way to say thank you for making all of this possible. So those of you on YouTube, God bless you. Have a beautiful week. And look forward to seeing you next time on Sunday School.